It was just the normal Thursday morning. The sun came through the kitchen window in soft stripes, the kind that made the dust sparkle in the air. Mom was making pancakes, flipping them with their old wooden spatula that always squeaked against the pan. I sat at a table, swinging my legs and drawing lazy circles on the foggy window. Mom glanced over her shoulder. "Are you ready for school today, sweetheart?" I shrugged. "Kinda. We have a math quiz." "Ooh," she said, pretending to be worried. "Should I call to school and tell them you're sick? Maybe you caught a terrible case of quizzits." I snorted. "That's not a real thing." Mom laughed. "It is now. I just invented it." She set a plate of pancakes in front of me. "Eat up before they get cold. They're your favorite. Chocolate chip." "Thanks, Mom." She poured herself some coffee and sat across from me. For a few minutes, we ate quietly, listening to the morning news on the radio. The anchor talked about the weather, the upcoming storm, and some weird animal sightings in the woods. But Mom turned it down before I could hear more. She reached across the table and tapped my knuckles lightly. "Hey," she said with a smile. "You're quiet today. Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said, "just tired." "Want to talk about anything?" I shook my head. "Not really." "All right," she said softly. "But if you change your mind, you know I'm here." I nodded. "I know." Mom smiled, brushing the crumb off my cheek. "You're my whole world, you know that." "Mom, you're being mushy again." "That's my job," she laughed. "Moms are supposed to be mushy." I rolled my eyes, but I was smiling too. Everything felt completely normal. Just me and Mom, just a regular morning. Before anything strange happened, before anything changed, before the knocking. After breakfast, Mom cleaned the dishes while I got my backpack. Everything still felt ordinary. The sun was bright, the radio was mumbling about weather alerts, and Mom hummed one of her old songs under her breath. But when I opened the front door to leave the school, Mom suddenly grabbed my shoulder. "Wait!" Her voice changed, soft but intense. I froze. "What?" I asked. She stared outside at the trees lining our driveway. They were still quiet. The world was calm. Too calm. Mom forced a smile. "Never mind, go ahead. I'm being paranoid." But she walked me out to the car instead of letting me go alone. She scanned the woods the whole time. I pretend not to notice. Later that afternoon when I got home from school, Mom was in the kitchen, again, cutting vegetables for dinner. The house smelled like garlic and rosemary for a moment. Everything felt warm and safe again. She looked up as I walked in. "Hey, sweetie, how was your quiz?" "Easy," I said. "I think I did good." "I knew you would." She smiled and tossed the chopped onions into the pan. I dropped my backpack and laid it on the counter. "Mom, why were you weird this morning?" "Outside." She hesitated, just for a second, just long enough for me to notice. "I wasn't weird," she said lightly, "just tired." But her eyes didn't match her voice. Still, we kept talking about school, about the storm coming later that night, about maybe watching a movie together. It felt normal again, until someone knocked on the door. Mom froze. Her knife hovered above the cutting board. "Probably delivery," I said. casually walking towards the front entrance. No! But I have already reached for the doorknob. Before I touched it, a familiar voice drifted in from the outside. Sweetie, dinner's ready. I blinked. That was Mom's voice. But Mom was behind me, still in the kitchen, still holding a knife, staring at the door in horror. She whispered, Honey, step away. My heart hammered. Mom, what is that? Outside, the voice repeated, perfectly warmly, Sweetie, dinner's ready. Mom grabbed my arm and pulled me back. Don't answer it. Don't speak. Don't even breathe loud. The knocking grew sharper. Let me in! It demanded, still using Mom's voice but bending it, stretching it, ruining it. The real Mom pushed me behind her, trembling. It found us, she whispered. It wasn't supposed to know where we lived. The house fell silent. Then suddenly, we heard footsteps moving around the outside wall. Slow, dragging, searching, and the voice now whispering through the living room window. I can't see you. Mom didn't move. I didn't either. We both stood in the center of the living room, staring at the window where the voice had whispered. Snow blew softly outside. Shadows shifted in the trees, but whatever was speaking was invisible. Mom swallowed hard, her hand gripping my arm so tightly, her fingers shook. All right, she whispered, barely moving her lips. We're going to the hallway, slowly. We backed away from the window, quiet as possible. The house creaked under our steps. Every noise felt too loud.